All right, well, we will get started. Hey guys, it is Monday. It is June 9th already. I'm glad to see you guys with our resumed team time. So, getting back into the swing of things. I've got really good feedback about us gathering again and want to use this time for you so you guys get the most you can out of it with some celebration, some recognition, training, but more importantly, want to have more of interactive conversations to brainstorm together. And, few celebrations today. Debbie added a new health coach. So want to introduce her today. And Debbie, maybe you can just share it because I really admired how you walk this journey. I met your new coach a couple months ago and how you walk this journey with her.
Yeah. So, like sometimes you meet people and you're like, this one is awesome. Like you just meet people and you're like, yeah, we're going to be friends, even if even if nothing else in the world happens, this is something I like. Well, that's definitely, it's nice to meet people like that. And I will say most of my clients have become friends with at some level just because you get to know them so well. But we connected like pretty much right away. Just on a personal level. And so anyway, and now Severina and her man, Claire, they're both very busy entrepreneurial people and they're just quick and smart and busy. And so pretty early on, I was like, "Ooh, you guys, we should talk about coaching at some point." And so they were like, "Yeah, let's take a look." And then they decide, well, if one was to do it, it would be Severina. And then she was like, I'm busy. I'm really busy. I've got so many irons in the fire. And so at some point, because I was inviting her to the Coach Explorers that Dan had, every week, and she kept not making them. And so finally I was like, I got to ask you a question. I do feel like at some point you'll probably be coaching, but are you kind of feeling like maybe right now is not the season? And she was like, absolutely. I'm feeling like right now is not the time. And I was like, let's stop talking about it for a minute because, let's just focus on what we're doing and we can come back to it later. And so we did. And then all of a sudden, Claire is like meeting all these people who are wanting to know about the program. And so he's in creating these three-way text threads. And then they were like, okay, Severina might need to start soon. So that was kind of like, I mean, Severina, and I'll let you pop in if you'd like to and kind of give your own take, but that was essentially, she was like, maybe now. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. And I think Debbie, you said if you want something done, get a busy person to do it. So that
Yeah.
describes me. So, so all the signs were there that we just needed to get started and stop putting it off. So here we are.
And she's been such a great client. She's one of those people that's like a nerd, like, like I love nerds. So like she gets her books and she does her books and she's like, let's go, I'm ready. And, she's kind of bringing Claire along because, he's a little bit, he's, people opposites attract. He's like, let me do the thing. And she's like, let me read the book. And so they are a great pair. But she is so involved in learning already. So it just seems like a really natural next step.
Love it. Well, welcome, Severina. We're glad you're with us. And did you respect? I mean, did it feel good when Debbie was like not just pushing it at you, but like recognizing like, hey, I've sent her this webinar, she's not watching it. Odds are it's not the right time that she just had that conversation with you.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Debbie is a great coach. And so as much as I was interested, she read the tea leaves that things were not happening, and despite good intentions, and so yeah, she knew when to back off and let things play out. And like she said, Claire is just a talker, so he will be the person doing all of that. And I'm deep involved in the book and the life book and the habits of health book and just absorbing everything. So I feel pretty prepared to talk the program to anybody who has any questions. So I know it's a journey, but I feel like I have a good foundation, and that was also part of the decision process. So
Good, 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 good. And Debbie is a great coach, so she's going to mentor you through this process, and you'll get up and running. So real excited to see what happens. And Ellen, I see you there. You added your second client, right, Ellen? You can come off mute for a second.
Yes, I did, and it's been going very well.
That's
So
exciting. And I saw you did another post. Was that today you did another post about your journey?
I did, and I'm loving my journey.
How much are
People
you
are
down now?
uh 42 or 43.
Yeah.
So yes.
Hop over to Ellen's page, show her some love because she's being really courageous, sharing out there, and she's got 2 new clients. I know Kelly's doing a great job helping those with those calls and moving it along. So super exciting. Does anybody else have something that they would like to share? Something good that happened this week? Jackie, it's good to see you on the call. How are you doing? Got the kids home now, I'm sure, this summer.
So they're all around, so I'm trying to be on mute.
Okay. Well, you're here. That's all that matters. That's all that
I
matters.
wanted to quickly mention something that I went to a functional medicine conference in San Diego 2 weeks ago. And one of the sessions that I went to was allowing you to network with the other people there for certain subject matters, little roundtable discussions. And the one I went to was the cash-based practice. And several of the physicians, there were several physicians sitting there, and they're all wanting to do what we're doing. They all want to be health coaches. They all want to be doing something that is like this, that fits with functional medicine. And so I was like, you know, yay. And so now they have in their mind, they just want to hire someone to do that rather than them do it themselves, but they're wanting a practice that incorporates a health coach that they can then use for that. So there may be some opportunities growing for, this kind of thing, because we have, clean products. I mean, we have clean products, and we have, no junk, no fillers, no artificial colors or flavors, blah, 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 blah. And then, we have the training and all of that stuff. So it's like a perfect segue for individuals. And this was an international conference. So these were people from all over the United States, but also there were some from Germany and, Norway and, whatever too. So anyway.
That is really good. Well, thank you for sharing. And, this is the new wave of healthcare, right? We've known it for a long time, but we're seeing it. And if you guys aren't aware, Dr. JC Dornick, Dr. A is often on it. There's some internal medicine doctors, other doctors that health professionals on Thursdays at 1, they do a health professional mastermind. They do a coach explore designed for health professionals. It can be anything from a doctor to a nurse to somebody who owns a fitness center, whatever, wellness center. And then they do masterminds where people can ask questions. And what JC said the other day, he spoke on Dan Valentine's call. He's like, there's rarely a physician or a professional that attends that and gets in to see what this really is that doesn't sign up. So, work with Frank Kelly on these people that you have, and then maybe we can lead them to some of those meetings, but it's huge opportunity. Huge. All right. Well, what we've been talking about, and honestly want Pat to share in just a minute, but what we're really focusing on is what the company wants us to focus on, which is the EDGE activities. So these are the small, daily, consistent actions that build relationships with other people, that increase your audience, and are the foundation of our business. So last week we talked about, the core components are that we are following our own health plan, that we are attending the meeting. So well done. You can check that box off, that we are talking to and inviting people to coaching. But the daily, in order to really interact with people for new clients and potential new coaches, is adding 3 new connections per day. And we talked last week about how do you find those people. And then today we're going to talk about how do you start conversations with them, because I think that is an area a lot of us have been coaching for a long time, or you might be new to the call, but it's like, how do I do that? What do I say? I don't want to be weird. And we don't want it to be weird. And so first, from a time perspective, I have personally found this by having this like checklist to be crazy when I really narrow it down, how minimal time it's taking. Like seriously, I'm like, wow, like if I do these intentional efforts, it's 45 minutes to an hour. tops, which is not bad to be running an entrepreneurial business. So Pat, you discovered if you shifted some time around that you were able to get more done.
Yeah, I've been really busy this week, and so you know how Dr. A talks about what is the smallest thing you can do on a bad day, and so this is not what I you know, aspire to do every day, but on the worst day, I've found that every morning, even before I get out of bed, where I used to just I like to wake up slow, and I get my coffee and I sit in bed, and I would play stupid games, or I would, you know, scroll on Facebook. Now I'm like, okay, well, let me just go and look at friends, and the, you know, Facebook will recommend friends for you. And somewhere, I think it was Bob Heilig or somebody was saying, if, you know, you look for where you have a bunch of like 25 or more mutual friends, and I go in and I see if the mutual friend is not a coach, or, you know, if it's somebody from my high school or from church or something, I just go ahead and friend them. I do that for at least 3, sometimes, you know, some more. And then I go in and I look at my stories that are coming up, and I will comment on some of those for conversations. And I will comment on birthdays, but, you know, I don't just say happy birthday. I like think of something that I look for people that we really have something that it's in common, or that I really would like to talk to them about. And so I would go and just say happy birthday. And by the way, you know, I saw your child was doing this, mine did too. And, you know, anything we have to relate to each other, I'll just send that in a message, get 3 of those done quickly. And then I do at least 1 post and a couple stories. And I'd like to come back later in the day and do another more meaningful post, or more time put into it. But at the very least, I've done the minimum of been, you know, I've posted something, and I've been out there, and I've made some connections, and I've, you know, made some new friends on Facebook. And it
I
took
think that
30 minutes. So.
30 minutes, 30 minutes, just by shifting your day, right? Just by shifting or your priorities. So I think that's great. So if I know lots of us were like, hey, I don't want to spend that much time on this, whether it's just your stage of life, your season of life, the summer, kids are home, whatever it is. I think this intentionality, like doing the right things, small things done consistently. And we were talking on a call before this that this is planting season, right, during the summer. And we touched on it last week, like, don't be surprised if you don't see an immediate reaction, right? Like an immediate growth in your business. It generally takes 90 to 180 days of consistency to see that come back. So posting is one thing. And if we're only posting, and we'll talk about what different types of posts to do next week. I think the things that make the difference right now, especially for all of us, is increasing our audience base, and then also using the algorithms and being a human to actually build relationships. And that is the foundation of our business. So the conversations piece of it, if we're not doing it, we're missing the personal connection. And what I think my fear used to be with it, and maybe even the way I did it in the past, and so I didn't feel comfortable, is that we don't really want to be out there going, hey, I'm a health coach in private message. Just curious, do you have any goals this summer? What are you doing? You know, if I can help anybody, you or anybody, you know, right? That has the ick factor to it. So what we're really doing is wanting to treat this like when you see somebody at the grocery store. So like if I'm at the grocery store, or I go to the pool and I see Julie Apple Walker, that I'm not going to immediately launch into, you know, XYZ. I'm just gonna be like, oh my God, Julie, it's been so long since I've seen you. And that's what I've done with a lot of my conversations, is it being in private message. If somebody's commented on one of my pictures from Paris or something like that, just being like, whoa, this made me realize how long it's been since we've been in touch, you know, and then whatever. So, so what you can do with this, I mean, really, there's kind of a bounce. I was watching 2 different short trainings on this, and I can post the links to those if you want to watch them yourselves. But when you do those conversations, one, you're making yourself available to people so that they probably at this moment, they might say, hey, I've been meaning to reach to you, or hey, right? That would be rare. It's rare that somebody will just see your post and say, hey, sign me up. But what it does do is it builds that relationship and that trust and the visibility, so that in the future, if they are interested or they have somebody they care about, that door is open. You've opened it to them. So liking and commenting. So if you've got your 100s list that you're working through, people that have been on your heart, people maybe you've talked to in the past, having them in the forefront, having that written list is critical. And then periodically going to their page, liking one or two of their posts, and then doing the private message conversation. And just play it by ear. Some people will respond, some won't, but a good thing to always do is bounce in there and ask a question, because a question will more likely elicit a response. So we had talked on an earlier call about if you meet, you're like, hey, you friend requested somebody because you had 25 mutual connections, and then they accept your friend request. Well, you could send a private message and be like, hey, so cool that we connected. I was looking at our mutual friends. How on earth do you know Gina Manley? Right. And so you've asked a question now that will elicit a response, but think of it like being at a party or the grocery store. Don't feel like you have to turn this to health right now. Like that's where it gets weird. Right. So every conversation is going to have a natural ending. Let it flow. I used to get too caught up in the ask another question, ask another question, ask another, and it didn't flow. So, so that just making it that natural small talk. If there's somebody on your heart and they haven't posted recently, so there's nothing that you can look at to say like in private message, like, oh my gosh, you got a new puppy. Tell me about that. Look at their profile picture. Look at their what is that called? Their banner, their cover photo. Look at their occupation or their about section. There might be something in there that could spear, a conversation from it. So, I know, Julie, you had somebody approach you with something that I thought was a brilliant idea especially for turning something towards health.
Yeah, last week I was telling the group before we got together that somebody I know that he also does some sort of network marketing. I'm not sure what. He sent me a friend request and I never got to know who he was, but he sent me this message last week and he said, "Quick question for you, Julie. When it comes to your health, what are you most focused on improving right now? Is it weight, fat loss, energy, sleep?" He said, "I just am asking because I'm creating some new content this month and I'd love to make it actually helpful for what people are going through." And I thought that was pretty smart to send that. Multiple reasons you can get to hear what people want, but you also are letting them know what you focus and your passions are. So I think you can try doing that in different ways, and you could start a message and then put that at the end and tell me what you really want to see on social media, end it with that if it's kind of dying, there's lots of ways you could use it. So I thought that was really smart.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. And if they said something like, hey, I'm really, looking to lose some weight, or I want to increase my sleep, you can send them like with sleep or something, a free resource, or, or it can lead into the conversation about like, hey, I don't know if you know what I do, but I could, or whatever, I could possibly help you with that. But, because that's the other thing is sometimes we still do need to be bold. Like somebody in that conversation may open the door. And we don't want to be too wishy-washy in those situations. Some of the other ways, because the other training I watched was turning conversations to health. And I really liked what she talked about, because she said the worst thing to do is just to be somebody who posts and pray. Like post and pray that somebody responds to it, right? Like that's not, an intentionality around our business. But the couple things you can do, like tonight I posted a recipe for I made that chicken crust pizza. So instead of just posting the recipe or whatever, I posted a picture of it, put it in my stories, and just said, great protein packed pizza option, let me know if you want the recipe. So if somebody comes back to me and asks for that recipe, I can share it. But then it was also suggested to ask the question like, hey, I'm just curious, are you looking to meet any specific health goals, or are you just looking for recipes? So it might open it up, or ask the question. I always say, hey, let me know when you try it. I can't wait to hear your feedback. And then that will sometimes give me a reason to go back if I haven't heard from them, just to circle back and be like, hey, did you ever try that chicken crust pizza? So you can use one of your value posts if you decide not to post the actual recipe, or even if somebody comments on it, you could say, hey, I saw you asked for the chicken crust pizza. You know, just curious if you have any goals. This one I thought was really good. She talked about birthdays. And that can be a very transactional. If you just, you know, if you just wish them happy birthday on their page, they're going to be numb. They got 90 other people that said the same thing, right? You can go into private message and say, you know, happy birthday. Just curious, what are you doing to celebrate? Or, you know, what are your plans for the day? And then ask a question. If they come back, comment on it, chat about it, and then just say, I'm just curious, do you have any specific goals for the coming year? So it can be a way to turn it. You don't even have to say health goals. Do you have any, you know, another year older, do you have any specific goals for the coming year? They may or may not, but I thought that was good because I kind of felt like I was wasting energy on the birthday thing. So, so that could be one. And then if somebody comments, especially on your own personal journey, those you can go into Messenger, say, hey, I just so appreciate your love and encouragement. Every little bit helps. Are you working on any goals that I could encourage you on? I thought that was a good one as well. And then if somebody comments on your value post, like water, hydration, things like that, could be a door opener. Like, hey, I saw you commented on that. Is that something you're good at, or an area that you're working on, or whatever? Or is there another area? So there are ways that you can turn them towards health without hitting them straight up, you know, the random thing. So I would love a little interaction here, maybe your feedback, something you've done that you think is effective, or maybe something you're struggling with. If you feel like you've put things out there, or you've got a conversation you don't know what to do with now. Debbie.
I discovered a thing today. After all the years and years of actually being on Facebook, that when you go to like that gear, you know, the gear that you go to, that if you want to do like look at your memories or look at events or whatever. Well, one of the things is how many of your friends are online right now. It's like the first one. And so today I went on that and I tapped on that and I saw some posts of people that I don't even talk to. And so that was good. I was oh, look at your daughter. That's so adorable. Where'd you get that little dress? Or what? Like it was making me see people that I wasn't seeing before. And it was somebody that I knew was online at that moment. And so I just thought that was really cool. And I saw a couple like health coaches posts that are not necessarily in our group. And I was like Cindy Trow was one of them. And I was like, oh, that's a good post. So I saved it and I, you know, I put it in my, so I just think I just found a new like trick.
So where exactly is that?
Okay, hold on, I'll show you.
And you're on your phone?
So yeah, I'm on my phone right now. So okay, I'm at this place right here. Let me see if it shows it. Yeah, okay.
Are you
I'm
on your own
I'm
profile?
on my phone right now, and I just hit you know, like over here you hit the icon for your profile.
Okay.
You know, so this thing where we see the birthday and all the things, right? Well, the very first one right there says friends online. Yeah, friends. And then it says 263 online. So I tapped on that and then I was seeing people that I haven't you can just scroll through it and you see these posts of people and you're like, hey, I haven't talked to her.
Is that something you turn on? Like, I don't have that. Mine just says friends. It doesn't say who's
like
online.
mine says friends and
It's
shows
under
like who-
notifications. You hit your bell button.
I hit my bell. I didn't hit my bell on my phone. I hit
That's what I just did. I hit the
that thing
bell.
okay, that thing that looks like my profile picture. I tapped on that
Well,
and then this comes up.
Because I have all those. My block just says friends, but it doesn't say who's online. I bet you it's in the notification area.
Oh, okay.
actually, it's on the hamburger.
Okay,
Mine is, and then it says friends 168 online.
okay. So, okay, well then, however you get to it, I had not ever done it before. I'd never looked at that, like who's online and like actually interacted with somebody that I know is currently on Facebook you know, that, so they're gonna see the thing that I'm doing, and just that it was showing me posts of people, I don't even talk to that person, you know, and so that was kind of a neat trick.
Dee, I'm wondering if it's an Android thing because I don't have that either.
Yeah, and I'm like, what's the hamburger? Did she
Three
say
lines.
hamburger?
Yes, she did.
Those 3 lines, they call it a hamburger.
They do?
Yes,
What-
I didn't
what
make
3
it up, I
lines?
promise.
Which three
Well, I
lines?
don't have the 3 lines on mine, but I know that's called a hamburger. Show them
That's
that.
so funny. Well, I'm gonna do a little research on that.
Okay.
But I also like what Pat was saying too, like commenting on people's stories. That'll put you right into their messenger.
Yeah.
And I find people will respond right away on that. Like somebody had a Eiffel Tower tattoo on her foot, and I was like, oh, that's the coolest tattoo, you know, whatever. And bam, she just came right back with it. So
If you go to the bottom, you just open up Facebook and go to the bottom where the 3 lines and it says menu.
mhm.
Click on that. Yeah. And then it says your shortcuts download, then it says friends. Yeah. And when you open it up, it says find friends, birthdays, and your friends. You click on your friends and it tells you how many you have and 80, however many are online right now. And that's who's listed there.
Oh,
Okay.
If there's a green dot, it says that's how you know that they're online now. Like,
No, because Dee's online, Debbie Pasco's online,
I know, but
but
the
they
green
don't have
dot is
green
online.
dots.
Yeah, the green dot is online. If it says 23 minutes, it was like they were on 23 minutes ago.
yes. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so then you just click the name and you went to their page to see if they had posted anything.
Okay, I wonder if mine is because I have professional mode. Maybe that's why it's
I
doing
have
it.
that.
I
Me
do
too.
too.
I
I
don't
do
know.
too.
I think it's Android. I think,
Well, maybe Android is better after all.
oh, never, but I do think we have to take a few more steps.
Okay,
I see. Thanks, Debbie.
You're welcome.
I love that
Thanks,
idea.
Vicky, for taking it that one step further.
Well, 2 things to share as we are starting to wrap up. The 2nd and 4th Thursday are the Ascend and Synergy talks, and so it is Ascend this week. Debbie, I can never pronounce her last name, Akneri. She is blowing it up right now in her business. She delivers a lot on the leadership call. Corporate ask her to speak. She is going to be worth listening to. So that is Thursday. And then tonight, you know, if you want to attend the Valentine's call, they're actually doing that Coach Explore. So you can even text somebody if you've got somebody you didn't know about it and you wanted to invite them. It's at 8:30. And we've got the community call at 8. Did anybody hop on the Valentine's? I know Kelly was on the Valentine's community call last week. They had several hundred people on it. It's like Brady Bunch style, like this. Just curious for feedback of what you thought your clients will like better for what we should promote. Would it be that Brady Bunch style call or stick with the webinar style that we've had?
I felt like the reason I went ahead and went to that is because the big national regular call is on the podcast. I always listen to it again later in the week. So I thought while I'm doing this right now, then I can do that one tonight and then I will, you know, listen to the other later. And that way I don't miss anything.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. And I mean, I think the topic tonight for the webinar style one is the science of the fuelings. That's always a really good one and can be a great resource for for your clients as well. So we'll continue to evaluate that. I welcome your feedback as we start to grow, as we start to bring on new clients. Where do you want to put them in terms of that for their community call? So we have options now. All right. Well, we are right at 7:59. So we're not doing watch party. So we'll go ahead and sign off and you guys can sign in to whichever community call you want and hopefully see you on the Coach Explore with the Valentine's. So see you guys later. Thanks for your ideas.